What motivated you specifically to decide to get involved in fundraising on this issue?
Well, we had a first dissonant schizophrenic break with our son Brandon, our superhero 800 SAT son, going to be a rocket scientist, freshman at Dartmouth, could do no wrong, between the freshman and sophomore year. Knowing what we know now, we probably could have seen a lot more of this coming. But we got a phone call when we were traveling in Europe, and first of it was like, this has to be the wrong number. This can't be our son. Second, it's the shock and dismay, and then you get on the plane, you get home, you get him out of the psychiatric ward, you first try to get him well, and then you lapse into this whole area of guilt. You know, what did we do wrong? What mistake did we make? How could this have happened to our perfect child? And what is it that you did wrong, Sherry, and what did I do wrong, Garen? And you get over all that stuff, and then you focus on getting him well, which we did. We got the right medications. He took a year off, actually not even a whole year at Dartmouth, went back, and graduated on time with honors. So our son is clearly a very high-functioning person who is probably more the exception than the norm. And so we had to make a choice. So were we going to run away from this problem and now just put it away because he's doing okay and probably no one will actually ever know he's sick? Or were we going to run towards the problem? And we decided to run towards the problem. And that was 17 years ago. And every time we started talking about it, people would thank us for our openness. And it allowed them to talk about a situation in their family. And we did this in more and more open environments and more public environments, and on the front pages of papers, and on radio talk shows, and on TV talk shows. And Brandon is well enough now that he comes with us, and we have these conversations. And it's heartwarming for him and for us to see how people will come to us afterwards and say, you know, I've never told anybody but. And it's that conversation that then allows them to become more open, to think about the possibilities of getting their loved one back to a place where they can be functioning and doing well. And this whole cycle of hope that we've created, that great research gives people hope, which causes them to want to be more involved and be more philanthropic, which leads to better research and better results. And that whole circle of hope is what we've perpetuated over this last 17 years, leading to the amount of money that we've raised.
Well, and your personal story is so inspirational, and the work that you've done has given hope to so many people. Can you tell us about the One Mind campaign?
Well, I have the good fortune of having a great partner in Patrick Kennedy, whose oratorical skills in the Kennedy family are unmatched, as you just saw. I mean, he goes into rooms and talks with people, and they don't exactly know what to do, but they're all standing up and applauding. I mean, it's terrific. And so my job in working with him is to try to corral all this energy into what we're very excited about, is the first ever campaign on a national level in neuroscience. It really has three elements, Lisa. The first is a 10-year roadmap for science that will actually allow us to accomplish all the basic science for all brain disorders, from autism to Alzheimer's. This is being led by a wonderful guy who had to also corral Larry Summers, Steve Hyman, who's the provost of Harvard, and every NIH director and every scientist in the Society for Neuroscience and several others. This plan is almost done. And we intend to present this plan at Mass General. I saw Jerry Rosenbaum was here someplace. Jerry is hosting that with us at Mass General on May 23rd and 24th. And on the 25th, which is the 50th anniversary today of when Patrick's uncle, President Kennedy, challenged our country to be the first nation to put a man on the moon and return in the next decade, we're going to announce the challenge, hopefully with somebody from the White House, that we will be the first nation that will lead unlocking the mysteries of the brain in the next decade by following this plan and by collaborating in a way that we've never collaborated before. The second element is really uniting everyone under this One Mind alliance So instead of each person going after their own illnesses, we are actually coming into this One Mind Alliance where all brain disorders can speak with a public voice out to America's public, because our ability, although we've each been successful as we could, we've never gotten to the will of the public the way cancer has, and where AIDS has, and the way heart disease has. The American Cancer Society raises $1 billion a year with the average contribution of $50. At our best year, we might raise $100 million for mental health, and it's generally from very large donors who have significant illness in their family. With One Mind, we hope to reach a huge and much broader audience, and by aligning ourselves together. And the final piece is a new way of working. I mentioned a little bit about this collaboration, but we're actually going to create a public-private partnership, much like we did 10 years ago in the semiconductor industry, where academics and manufacturers got together to do basic science. And that's led to a lot of the wonderful revolutions that we all carry around in our pockets and use every day as with more dependency than we used to have on anything else. We can't go anywhere without these things now. But that sharing of intellectual property and that contribution of like-kind laboratory compounds that we might be able to repurpose, I'll say not if, but when we pull this off, will allow us to accelerate targets to cures. It will allow us to move this whole thing faster, and we are very excited about the response we've gotten from the major pharmaceutical industry. So this is a very ambitious effort. The analogy to the moonshot is a good one, except this one is like 100 moonshots. It's the most complicated thing that we've ever tried as a country, but it's morally right, it's economically sound, and together we can make it happen.
Wow, fantastic.
Thank you. Perfect. Thank you.
And hey, if we could do it once, why can't we do it 100 times? And with you on our side, what an asset it is to have you on this cause.